Okay, hi, good morning. Okay, let me turn where I can see my comments. Okay, I have a Facebook user. I don't know who that is. So usually what happens is that if you haven't given StreamYard the permission to tell me your name, StreamYard doesn't. But where you're watching this video, somewhere up, there is a link where you can click and you can give StreamYard the permission to post your name as well so that I can acknowledge you and have a communication with you. But before I go further, can you hear me? Am I loud and clear? For everyone joining me so far, either on a Facebook platform or on our YouTube platform. Am I loud and clear? Can I go on? Can I shoot? Am I good to go? I want to be sure you can hear me loud and clear. While I wait, let me do a little introduction of who I am. I am Blessing Ingyape, and I welcome you to 30 Minutes of Dyslexia with Blessing Ingyape, my humble self, the dyslexia coach. You can call me the dyslexia coach. And 30 Minutes of Dyslexia is where we spend 30 minutes talking about dyslexia. And today we are talking about the importance of a vision board, the importance of you having a 2021 vision board for your child with dyslexia. All right, thank you. I just got a feedback that I am loud and clear, so we can continue. Okay, so now I'm sure um, vision board is not something that is new to us, is it? I have a vision board for 2020. I don't know, do we have people here watching me today who also had or have a vision board for 2020? I did have. I have a vision board for 2020. It talks about the things I want to achieve in 2020, the goals I have in 2020. And each time I look at the vision board, I'm able to say, okay, this is what I have done, this is what I've not done, this is what is left, and all of that. And having a vision board has really helped me in 2020 because despite when 2020 started, there was uh, excuse me, I have a child here. Okay, life of a teacher, children everywhere. So I was talking about my vision board. So I had a vision board that talked about the things I wanted to achieve. And even, when the year started, we didn't see COVID coming. But amidst of COVID, I asked myself, how can I still achieve this goal? And it's so amazing, the power of the vision board. Because with those goals being there, I said, this goal is on my vision board and it should still be achieved. And if it can't be achieved well, what else can I do to compensate for it? So having a vision board, personally as an individual, helps you. I know the year is coming, New Year is coming, and you're going to see a lot of vision board activities. And true is that some people are going to criticize it, are going to say it's not just about having vision board, you have to be this, you have to be that. It's not just about having vision board, but we need to first of all appreciate the fact that having a vision board is important. Do you know what it means to have a vision board? It means that you've done the most important thing. It means you have your goals for the year. That's what it means. And that is very important. I'm currently reading a book by Brian Tracy, Goals. I'd love to recommend that for you too, if you haven't. And if you have, I'm sure it's an amazing read that you would like to recommend to everyone too. So first of all, having a vision board talks is already like 50%, 50% something good that you have done. It means you're ready for 2021. You have your goals written down clearly, and that is the first most important thing. And then, of course, after that, having a vision board now translates to you ensuring that you're taking actionable steps daily to ensure that you achieve those goals. Then you can also have a vision board for your students with dyslexia, and not just with dyslexia. I know I specifically talk about children with dyslexia, where you can have a vision board for your students. Maybe you're teaching a regular class. You can have a vision board for your students. You can have a vision board for any other child that you have who has any other special need that is not dyslexia. I mean, if you can have a vision board for yourself, you can also have a vision board for your student as well. As a matter of fact, this in January, I was planning to have a vision board event for teachers, but I'm yet to finalize on that. It's not looking like it will be possible because of the plenty activities we have lined up. After this event, we're going to see, after this show, we're going to see how many people are interested in that event. Maybe I might just have a rethink. Okay. So now let's talk about having a vision board for your child. What's the first thing to do? Hmm? The first thing is that you need to have a child, right? Yes. I always say child because that covers up for both the parents and the teacher. If you're a teacher, that student is your child. If you're a parent, that is your child too. So when I say child, I'm not just talking about parents, but I'm talking about teachers too, because these kids have become your kids, okay? So first of all, you need to have children, you need to have students, or you need to have a child. There has to be a child you're looking at. There has to be an individual child you're looking at. There has to be a group of kids you're looking at. Of course, we know that that's number one thing, right? You can't have a vision board for a child if you don't have a child. Yes, so need to have a student, maybe a struggling learner, or a goal that you want to achieve in the lives of your specific students. Okay, I believe that's very simple, and probably everyone who is a teacher or who is on this show today, you're here because there's a child or there are a set of kids you'd like to have a vision board for, right? So I believe that's it. Then number two, you need to have goals. So number one, figure out a child, have a child. You can write that down too in the comment so that I know you're following. Have a student, have a child. The second one is have goals. You need to have goals for your students. As the year is beginning, have goals. I'm not talking about a curriculum. The curriculum is not a goal. Specifically, what is your goal for that class as a teacher? What is your goal for that child? There are some kids that I take their project personally. I say, my goal for you is that in 2 months, you must be able to move from this point to this point. And in 2 months, you'll be able to read this material, you should be able to read this material. So what goals do you have for your class if you're here representing a class? Or what goal do you have for that child with dyslexia if you're here because you have a child who is a struggling learner, who is dyslexic? What is your goal? What do you want to achieve? What do you want that? Sorry, call was coming in. We have a student that we have said that in 2021. You are our project. So at Dyslexia Help Africa, you are our project. You must read. And we're going to do all we need to do to make sure you read. We're going to um sorry, today I'm having this class and there's a child around. I have to keep saying, don't do this, don't do that. Okay. So I've lost my thought. Okay, I was talking about the importance of having a goal. Yes, so we have a project. We say that this year you must read. It doesn't matter if we need to go to the sun and back. We're going to do all that it is in our power to ensure that you read. So you need to have all of these goals for your students. So if you don't have them now, it's a good time to pick a book. Even right now, you can write them. Okay, my goal is for Aisha. Aisha, in 2021, you should be able to do this. You should be able to do this. You should be able to do this. You should be able to do that. Now, when you're done writing all of these things, the next important thing that you want to do is to ensure that your goals are smart. Okay? If you're with me or if you're watching the replay, just type under smart. 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 SMART goals. I'm sure we've heard that before, and I'm sure we also have goals personally that are SMART, right? So even for your student who is the same thing, make sure the goals are SMART, make sure they are specific, make sure they are achievable, make sure they are relevant, and ensure that they are time bound. Did you get that? Make sure it is specific, make sure it is measurable, make sure it is achievable, make sure it is relevant, and make sure it is time bound. Those are not just, you don't only use SMART when you're doing goals, your personal goals. Yes, that it applies even for your students. It applies even for your student. And I'm sure a lot of teachers had a hard time during 2020 because most kids who returned back from the COVID lockdown, most of them didn't remember what they were taught. I mean, I'm on teacher groups and I saw lots of teachers lamenting that I have a child who could read, and now that they are back from the lockdown, they cannot read, all of that. So lots of learning problems came up after the lockdown. And I'm sure we had such a short time that these learning problems were not attended to. And even now that um, teachers are on break, as they look into 2021, their major goal is to find out how to help this child. How do I bring my child back to the level where they were before the COVID lockdown? And in putting down those goals, like we mentioned, ensure that they are smart as well. So let's break that down. When you talk about smart, the first one, specific. What does it mean? You need to ask yourself that what do you want to accomplish? So first, have um, a statement. I think, should I say a vision statement? Yes. What's your vision statement for this child? So I'm picturing some of my kids now. And for one day, my vision statement for you is that in 2021, you should be able to fluently call your two-letter words, read your two-letter sentences, and okay, I'm back. Sorry for that little hitch. Sure you missed me, right? So I'm talking about the importance of ensuring that your goals are smart, number one, specific. Now, can you have a vision statement for your students, or a vision statement for that class, or a vision statement for that uh, child that has a learning difficulty in your class? And I was given an example of my vision statement, which could be that in 2021, you, my dear student, will be able to read your two-letter words fluently, accompanied with two-letter short stories and CVC words. That could be my vision statement for a particular child. So ensure that your goals are specific. You're handling a specific thing. Is it vowel sounds? Is it comprehension? Okay. Don't just say in 2021, my students should be able to read. Should be able to read what? So is it that I should be able to read any material at all? We're even going to get to that. Should the student be able to read any material? So what should your student be able to read? So ensure that your goals are specific. And then they should be measurable. And that's exactly what we're talking about, measurable. You should be able to measure them. How will you know when this goal is accomplished? How will you know? And that's why measuring is important. So for me, I have a vision statement for my students. So I'll know when this goal is achieved, when they are able to read two-letter word sentences, they are able to read CVC words, they're able to read CVC stories, short stories, and all of that. I would know that my goal has been achieved. But when you say, when you don't make it specific, you have a problem in measuring. If I say, let my child just be able to read, so how do I measure that? How do I measure that my child is able to read? Because a child who is reading two letter words is able to read. The one who is reading a newspaper is able to read. The one who can read long stories is still able to read. So I need to measure that. And also in measuring, we're going to get to that when I talk about time bound. Also in measuring, time bound is very, very important too. So achievable, let the goals be achievable. For instance, you have a child who is still struggling with sound, and your major goal is that in 2 months, the child should be able to, I mean, what can be most ridiculous? Okay, not too ridiculous. A child should be able to read grade six word in 2 months. The child should be able to read grade six word. That child is just beginning from the scratch. You can see that that doesn't look like a goal that is achievable. Okay, so achievable. How can I accomplish this goal? You need to ask yourself that question. How can I accomplish this goal? How realistic is the goal? And that's where I spoke about a child who is just beginning to learn their basic sound, and you're saying in 2 months they should be able to read with six words. That doesn't look realistic at all. Okay. What are the financial factors? What is it that can stand in your way in achieving this goal? You need to ask yourself all of these questions. Creating a vision board for your child means reflecting. It's something you need to take out time, think about, reflect on. So this goal that I want to accomplish, is this goal possible? Is this goal of mine realistic? And then, are there any factors that can stand in the way of us achieving this goal? Maybe money or resources, or we don't have enough time. So, with the resources we have, with the time we have now, what can we achieve? Usually, when I'm talking to our parents and they tell me, okay, how long is this intervention? I say, first, it depends on how intensive it is, and it depends also on the child. It is not just totally on us or on you. So if it's going to be every day, I can tell you how achievable this goal can be in the next 1 year. Okay, is it going, or is it going to be just once a week, twice a week? So all of that also helps. Okay, factors could be a time factor, a money factor. You need resources to teach children how to read. You don't have those resources. A multisensory approach will not be functional in your sessions, and that is going to affect you achieving your goals. And then relevant, it has to be relevant. Let it go be relevant. Okay, focus on what the child is struggling with. So you're having a goal, and maybe your goal, the goal you're setting should not be on a goal that a child is already doing well. It should be a goal that is relevant. It should be a goal that the child needs. A perfect example is before here, 30 minutes before I came in here, I was running a training with people on the batch for dyslexia intensive training. And yes, if you're not aware of that training, you are aware of it now, and you should be a part of the next batch in, that should be in February or thereabout. Okay. And while we're talking there, we're talking about phonics and teaching kids. We're talking about diction and teaching kids how to read. Okay. And we're saying that you don't teach the kids diction when they don't even know how to read yet. So when the child is not able to read, that is when you can now bring in diction. So for a child who is learning how to read, diction is not relevant. I mean, a child doesn't even understand that um, trying to give an example of a word, doesn't even understand that this is how, this is the sounds in this is how this word is called. When doesn't understand the vowel pairs, doesn't understand the bossy R, none of the structure literacy knowledge you need in teaching them how to read, and then you're coming to try explain that no, you don't pronounce this way, pronounce it this way because of this, because of that. That is not relevant at that point. Okay, is it irrelevant knowledge? Yes, it is. But at that point, is it relevant? No, it is not. So focus on the major goal. Okay, is it worthwhile? Is it the right time? Am I the right person? I love that question. You need to ask yourself that too. Are you the right person? If you're having a goal to teach your student how to read, but you don't know how to teach a structured literacy plan, it means you're not the right person. You're not the relevant person. And there are two things you can do. You can either one lead that person to a relevant person, or you can get trained so that you can become that relevant person. Very important part. Are you the right person? You should ask yourself that question. In fact, write it boldly in your book right now if you're listening to me. And if you're watching, you can also type it in the comment section there. Are you the right person? Question mark. Are you the right person? Very important. Every other thing that we have mentioned about you achieving the goals being specific and all, if you're not the right person for that child, if you don't have the right knowledge, okay, to teach that child, it still will not work. So, are you the right person? And if you're not, it is not a bad thing. Get trained, okay? In your vision board, you have a vision board for yourself and a vision board for your student. In your vision board, write it in that vision board that between this month, first quarter of this month, I need to get trained. I need to be on Blessing Ingyape Dyslexia Intensive Training in February. Just 30,000 naira. And with that 30,000 naira, you get the Dyslexia Bible. Okay? You're just hearing about the Dyslexia Bible for the first time? Okay. It is a book loaded, okay, loaded book. Now, I always tell people that if you even study this book, if you take that book and you study it religiously, you'll be able to teach a child with dyslexia. And then finally, time bound. Okay, when? What can I do 6 months from now? What can I do today? You need to ask yourself all of those questions. It has to be time bound. This goal now that you want to achieve. Now, it's not okay to say it is your 2021 goal. Now, that is a good step. Okay, that is a good place to start. It is your 2021 goal, but that is not all. It still needs to be time bound. In 2021, what do you want to achieve? And that's where your monthly goals comes in. You can have a monthly goal, you can have a quarterly goal, you can have a half a year goal, but the most effective is a monthly goal. Okay, because it helps you to check. At least you can work with a monthly goal, then quarterly. Okay, those two are actually very expedient. The monthly goal, if your child moves faster, quarterly goal, if you have a child who moves slowly. So you want to tell yourself, okay, in January, this is what we want to achieve. In February, this is what we want to achieve. In March, this is what we want to achieve in May, and all of that. And all you can say, the first quarter, you should be able to do this. The second quarter, you should be able to do this. The third quarter, you should be able to do this. The fourth quarter, you should be able to do this. So you can see that you need time to relax, think about these things, take out time. Maybe in the morning, take out time in the morning and just sit down in the early hours and plan for your students. Now, after you have all of these plans, what's the next thing? The next thing is where you draw up your board. That's the exciting part. I love that. So you can have pictures of your students. Okay, you can have pictures of students. You can have, like, am I going off and on? You can have pictures of your students, right? Where you have them on you have your cardboard paper or your board, whatever way you decide to use it. Okay, some use books. You can use a book, right? You also have a book, but I love it more on the wall because I get to see it. A book, I need to consciously open the book. I need to consciously open the book. But then for the board, right, with it being on the board in my room, I see it when I work in, I see when I want to go to bed. So it is like in my face. I need something that is in your face. That's how vision board works. And I believe that's why they are called vision board and not vision books. Although you can have a cute one too. Okay, so you can have the picture of your students there or your students there. Write your vision board 2021 for Aisha. Then write your goals. Now, if you have quarterly goals, quarter it. I mean, it doesn't have to be something difficult. Okay, maybe your child is in the middle. If it's a particular child, your child is in the middle. Then our first quarter goal, you can design it, write it there, paste it. Our second quarter goal, design it, write it. Our third quarter goal, our fourth quarter goal. Or if you're doing for January, our January goal, our February goal, our March goal, our December goal, all of that. And this helps you because every month you're going to review. So what were we not able to achieve in January? And why were we not able to achieve it? So what should we change? What were we not able to achieve in the first quarter? Why were we not able to achieve this? How can we rechange all of this? Okay. Simple, right? I always tell the teachers that I am training that when it comes to working with children with dyslexia, the most important things that make the most difference are very tiny stuff. But you need to pay attention to them. Okay? You need to pay attention to them. Okay, so that's it. A quick wrap up as I go. So we said, first of all, figure out a student. You need to have a student or you need to have a group of students that you want to create a vision board for. Then secondly, have goals. You need to have a goal. And in having goals, have a vision statement for your child. So I was giving an example, that a vision statement for one of my student aides. In 2021, you, my dear student, will be able to read 2 letter words and read them accompanied with CVC words and short stories. My vision board, my vision statement for him. You should also have a vision statement. So now that you have your goals, you need to ensure that your goals are smart. Okay, they are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are relevant, and they are time bound. Specific. What do you want to accomplish? So you don't just say in 2021, my student with dyslexia must be able to read. Must be able to read what? So be specific. Should be able to read 2 letter words, should be able to read 3 letter words, should be able to read passages for grade 3, passages for grade 4, comprehension passages for grade 6, and all of that. And then measurable. You need to also measure the goal. So how will you know when this goal is achieved? How will you know when this goal is achieved? So it has to be a goal that is measurable. And that is why I was talking about the importance of having a specific goal. Because when you have a specific goal, you then have a goal that you can measure. Okay, then achievable should be something that the student can achieve. Okay, your goal has to be realistic. A child who is just learning sound, you can't say in 2 months you'll be able to read a grade 3 comprehension passage. That is not realistic at all. So your goals should be achievable, and for your goals to be achievable, they have to be realistic. Can you achieve this goal? Is there a financial barrier? What factors can stop you from achieving this goal? You need to state all of that. And then relevant. This material that you're teaching, is it relevant? You should have a goal that is relevant. I gave an example. Fiction and diction and a structured literacy program are 2 different things. Okay, so what is your goal? The relevant goal right now is that you teach your child a structured literacy program and not diction. Is diction good? Yes, but diction can only come when a child is even able to read. And then another question in relevant is, are you fit for the job? Can you teach that child? That's an important question to look at. Can you teach that child? Are you trained? If you're not trained, get training. If you can't get training, lead your student to someone who can train them. And like I said, on your own vision board, put it. In 2020 February, I must have 30K, keep aside 30K to get a training with the dyslexia coach. And most people who have come in for my trainings are not people that just had 30K lines somewhere that they couldn't use. Yeah, for the 30K, you're also going to get a dyslexia Bible. Okay, they had to put it together. Some had to even pay in installments. So don't wait until you have everything. Okay, take the first step if your heart is really in it. And then finally, let it be time bound. When do you want to achieve this goal? Now, like I said, 2021 is too big. That's good. It's good to have a vision board for 2020, that then you have to break it down again. Okay, so in January, we need to achieve this. In February, we should achieve this. Or in the first quarter, we should achieve this. And then in the first half of the year, we should achieve this. And when you're done, you can have your vision board on the wall with your student's picture and then the goals by the side. So January goal is there, February goal is there, or first quarter goal is there, second quarter goal is there, or half of the year goal is there, half of the year goal is here. Okay, so it's already 10:30. How time flies when we're having fun. So did you get value? I believe you did, right? Did you get value? Time for me to say bye. And this is actually our last and 30 minutes of dyslexia of the year. We will continue again next year in January. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for being here. We have people who have been consistent on the 30 minutes of dyslexia with Blessing Ingyape. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here to listen. Thank you for using this knowledge to also help children with dyslexia all over the world. I know that when we come back next year, we'll come back bigger and better, ready to reach more people. Not just me, but you also contributing your part in reaching children with dyslexia and in creating dyslexia awareness. And like we always say, even wearing this shirt, that there are no limits, every child can learn shirt. It's an amazing way to create an awareness. I wear this shirt and people ask me questions. Okay, people strike a conversation with me, and it's an important time for me to tell them more about dyslexia. You might not know a parent who is struggling with a child who has a learning issue or a teacher. And right there, they are asking that, oh, truly, can any child learn? And from there, it can spark a conversation and they will get to know what dyslexia is and how they can help. All right, thank you so much for watching from Lesson to you. It's bye. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance.